Hey, what's up guys, it's Rick from Chasing Profits. Today I'm going to show you how to recone a disintegrated outer 10W7. Now this could work on not just a 10W7, it could work on an 8W7, a 13W7, it could work on any speaker that actually has an outer cone that has disintegrated due to weather, due to usage, whatever it may be. I'm going to show you the tools you need, and I'm also going to show you how to test it to make sure that your speaker isn't blown and you're not doing this for any reason at all. So let's get to work. I'll show you the tools you need and we'll get started. Alright, so some of the tools you need are going to be a flathead screwdriver, a pick. If you don't have a pick, you can use a Allen key, razor blade here, 9-volt battery. That's for testing purposes only, so if you're just repairing, you don't need this. Your speaker repair kit with the glue, a hair dryer, some lacquer thinner, alcohol, and a rag, of course, and your speaker. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this outer metal casing here. This is a 10W7. As you can see here, the outer portion here, put your finger all the way around inside here, and there's a little bit of adhesive right here where this circle is. We're going to heat that up with the hair dryer, pull that out. We're going to take off our outer ring first, so we'll do that. Set the camera down on the stabilizer. Alright, so the first thing you want to do before starting to repair, so that you don't repair something for nothing, is you want to go ahead and test the subwoofer to make sure it's not blown. Now, you can do all kinds of tests. You can watch YouTube videos to see which one is for you. You can test the resistance by an ohm meter, or you can simply use a 9-volt battery to make sure that the speaker reacts when you put power to the terminal here. So I have a 9-volt battery, positive on the left side, negative on the right, and I'm going to put positive, positive, negative, negative, and we should have a reaction. So we do have a reaction, which means that the voice coil is connected to the subwoofer and the cone is reacting with the subwoofer, so we know that it is good. And it goes down as well when you reverse the polarity, positive to negative, negative to positive. So we go up and down. We know our subwoofer is good. We just need to go ahead and fix the cone here. So we're going to get started. Okay, so do not use a heat gun. Use a hair dryer. Don't use a $450 hair dryer like I am. This is actually my wife's hair dryer, so whatever. Use any hair dryer. Don't ruin theirs though. So we're going to heat this up in the center here. You don't have to sit there for 5 minutes heating it up. It just needs to get warm so you can use your flathead screwdriver to remove the top of the cone of the subwoofer. You might have to do it 1 or 2 times. Alright, so that's a little warm there. So we're going to go in, see if we can separate it. Be very careful because you got the, there we go. So just removed it, and this is what we got. So we're going to clean off this glue here. Looks like somebody already had repaired this one time, because I see some marks here. We're going to go ahead and get this glue all cleaned up, get this outer ring cleaned up here, lacquer thinner, and I'll show you how to do that next. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and clean. This is the top cone. We're going to clean that after we clean the bottom cone here. You can either use denatured alcohol or lacquer thinner, but the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start taking some of this rough stuff that's high build on there off. Use a utility knife or like a razor knife like I am. You're not going to cut into the bottom cone here. You're just going to scrape off the top layer of this crap off to get it so you can start using the lacquer thinner or the alcohol. So I'm just going around the entire subwoofer here. Take off this top layer to expose the next layer so the lacquer thinner alcohol can take that off. I'm going to go around the whole thing. So now what we're gonna do, I got all that top layer off pretty well with the razor knife, utility knife, whatever you may have. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our denatured alcohol and just gonna put some on a rag. And we're gonna, or you can use paper towel, it doesn't matter. We're gonna wipe the edge and let that soak in. Cleaning it off, you can see how it's cleaning it off there. If you use a rag, it's a little bit more aggressive than using paper towels. So I'd use a rag. Take your razor knife. Make sure your razor knife is clean because you won't get a whole bunch of stuff off if it's not clean. And then go around it again, like scraping it sort of. Make sure that all that stuff is off. Alright, so just got done cleaning it. As you can see, I probably spent about 10 minutes off camera cleaning it all the way around. Got the surface really clean. I used the combination of alcohol, then lacquer thinner, alcohol, then lacquer thinner, and you can just see the glue starting to come off. So if you see there's a little bit of more residue right here, and I'll get that off with some lacquer thinner. But it needs to be clean because you're going to be placing, you know, new glue on here. So if you're placing new glue on, you want to have a clean surface so that the glue bonds to it. This is probably the most crucial step in the whole process, is getting this whole ring clean so you're free of residue. So now we're going to go ahead and clean the bottom cone. Same thing, scrape off the bottom of the cone with the razor knife and then start cleaning with alcohol, lacquer thinner, blah blah blah. So we'll do that now. Alright, so I had to come outside because this is really hard. So you need to soak this in lacquer thinner. So that's what I'm doing right now, because the outer surface, this glue is just rock hard and it needs to sit a little bit in the lacquer thinner. Now you might not have that case. I do. It's depending on how old your subwoofer sat like that, needing a repair with the glue like this. So if it's an older one, you know, you're gonna need to do this. If it's a newer one that just needs the repair done, you might not have to do this. But this is some hard glue and I need to let that sit for a minute. So pretty much go outside, like I said, just continue to pour on the lacquer thinner and use a razor knife and just, you know, scrape this crap off. You can see it's all coming off right here. See all this stuff? So sorry about the foggy screen here. I went from air conditioning out to the heat. So anyways, just run your blade around the outside. You know, you're pointing down and you're scraping like this all the way around. You're not gonna hurt the subwoofer top cone. You're just gonna have to keep doing this and doing this and doing this. It sucks, but you know, basically what you're doing is you're allowing a new layer to be exposed to the lacquer thinner. And you can just keep pouring on the lacquer thinner around the whole outside here. Make sure you're doing this outside because you're gonna get it everywhere if you don't. You can use the rag to clean it up. But basically this entire cone needs to be clean. This is probably the hardest of them all to clean. So we'll clean that up and we'll show you what it looks like after it gets cleaned. Alright, so I'm going to show you what I did here. This is the top cone. You can see it's really rough, but that's only because I sanded it down with some 120 grit sandpaper. Now, my case is different than yours. Okay, I had glue that was actually hardened on the side, and it was particularly a lot worse up here, up top here, around this corner. It is smooth, you can't tell by the camera, but it is smooth all the way around. And there's no more adhesive anywhere. I used lacquer thinner and I scraped it with a razor knife like I showed you, and then I sanded all of it down. So it's clean, there's no residue on it. So that's my top cone. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply the rubber foam to the bottom cone here, and I'll show you how that's done. Alright, so now we're ready to go ahead and put our new foam on. It's going to go just like that all the way around, and it's going to glue down to this center cone here, the bottom cone we like to call it. So what we're going to do is take our glue, and again, this kit is in the description below if you want to buy it from me, or you can go online, buy it from somebody else. If you buy it from me, I get credit for continuing to make these videos. Anyways, so what you're going to do is just basically take your glue and put a nice bead all the way around. Whoops. All the way around the center of the landing here. Don't worry if it's not perfect, because you're going to spread it out with your finger. So you're going to take your finger now and go all the way around it. Alright. Then we're going to take our adhesive, our foam here. Make sure it's on the outside of the cone, and you're going to take your other hand, push up as the rim touches the glue. Now you got to hold this down. You don't have to hold it yourself, but it needs to be cured. It's cured after 1 hour. What I'm using is the outer side of this right here, this pick, and you can use your finger, but I'm using this just to get a better contact all the way around. I'm holding the cone up the entire time. You can use a screwdriver. Just make sure you don't pierce the outside. So hold that up. I'd say hold it up for about 10 minutes. So it comes in contact, and so you can set it down and let it dry for an hour. Yes. So we're going to let that dry, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to put the top cone on. Alright, so we have our top plate, or top cone here, just for aesthetic looks really. So you're going to see your jlaudio sign right here. So you want to make sure the W7 mark is directly above that. It doesn't have to be, but for aesthetic purposes, you know, it looks better like that. So basically what you're going to do is take your adhesive again, and you're going to apply a thin bead. Be careful with this one because you know, if you don't apply a thin bead, you're going to have a messy repair here. So and also some more here. Put a good dab of this right here in the center. So, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your plate and you're going to set that in there like that. I'd grab my pick and just move it into position here. Slide that over. And it looks like we're in position. So we'll let that set up. And we'll go ahead and press down on the center as well. Again, using the back of my pick here, sort of like a press, to press it down.
So she got me by one. She clipped me by one person at the table.
Whatever you do, you don't want to put lacquer thinner on this foam here to disintegrate the foam. So make sure you don't put any lacquer thinner on the foam. So pretty much we'll let that set up, and then you know, as you know, in order to install these, you peel back this, and your screw holes are all in the back. Then you set your ring on, and then your outer trim ring goes on top of that. So, well, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe. Have a great day.